Hey guys, welcome back to PAC Talk with me, your host, Pieter Vodden. I am delighted to be here today with Shepherd Tate. Hey, Shep.
Hey, how you doing?
Good brother. Shep was actually the first coach we ever hired at Pharos Athletic Club. So back in 2017,
So long ago.
a long time ago, we were both a lot younger, a lot more handsome back then. Me, Emylee, and Jeff back then, we'd opened Pharos, we were running the show, we were teaching all the classes, and we got to the point where it was like, we need some help. And we'd known Shep from a previous gym back at CrossFit Mindset back in the day. And Shep had owned his own CrossFit gym before in back home in, where was it? Where was the gym?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Back in Memphis.
Yeah.
He owned his own CrossFit gym in Memphis. We'll talk about this in a second. And then, we'd known him as a great CrossFitter and a great Olympic lifter. Very, very proficient technical lifter, just a real solid dude. And we knew we could trust Shep. We knew he was coming in with the kind of pedigree that, we would want and we could rely on. And he came on board and he taught for us for many years, and then became this family man with a big family and 2 kids, and kind of had to take a little bit of a backseat for a while he did parenting duties. And now I'm delighted to say he's come back into the fold in a much bigger way, and is now, a head coach at Pharos Athletic Club with a lot more responsibilities. And we'll talk about those responsibilities first of all. But first of all, I just want to say congratulations, Shep.
I appreciate it. Thank you specifically.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have you more involved. Like, I think I've always respected you as both a man, a father, and someone who takes fitness, seriously, but relatively, like where it kind of fits within our lives and what it really is, and the perspective you have on it, and the kind of very calm approach you have to this whole world. So let's kind of start with going back just a little bit and talk about your kind of history in fitness and CrossFit and strength, and how that brought you ultimately to California, and then how you ended up kind of where you are now.
Sure, yeah. So, I guess my first kind of, taste of fitness and, some Olympic lifts and things like that was way back in high school. I played baseball, and everybody's like, you gotta get stronger, you gotta get faster, this, that. And, so started kind of working out in a gym with the team, and kind of always had that team aspect to it for me, at least. So I wasn't one of those people kind of grinding away at my own. I always liked, having somebody with me to share the burden a little bit. After, baseball career ended, in the sense that just, it wasn't going to go any further, played college ball and, wasn't going to go past that, kind of wanted to continue to stay as healthy as I could. And, that was back in 2010, found CrossFit at that time. Found a great group of people to work out with. And then about 2.5, 3 years later, I decided to open up my own gym with another guy in Memphis. And we did that kind of in the downtown location, and it was going super well. But, life, not necessarily curveballs, but life changes. And, me and my wife at the time decided to move out to California, back where she's from. So, did that and found some other areas. I had a degree in civil engineering, so I was trying to kind of pursue that too, and got into cahoots with you after that. So that's kind of a simplified version of the path.
Yeah, we were like I said, we were lucky enough to meet in that mindset gym, and that was kind of peak CrossFit years
For sure.
That kind of like 2017 was kind of where it peaked, I think, and then it kind of went not downhill, but I know things have changed since then, and we've all gotten older. We've kind of evolved with it, and we've learned a lot from it, and we've managed to take, the great thing about us and Pharos and everything that we're doing right now is, like we always say, we've taken the best of it. We've taken the best lessons that we could learn, and have applied it to our own programming and the way that we do things at Pharos Athletic Club. And this is why, I love you being involved, because you have the same perspective as me. as in you've been around for a while, you've seen things come and go, you've seen what's stood the test of time.
Yeah.
You know, what's valuable, what's not valuable, what you can kind of take with you, what you can kind of afford to leave behind, what's necessary, what's not necessary. And also, you know, we both had our fair share of like issues and injuries and problems and, you know, that come along with it, which invariably goes with fitness. Like they go hand in hand, because ultimately there's no such thing as no risk.
No.
You know, whatever sport you're doing, whatever fitness you're pursuing in the gym, there is always a risk, whether it's pickleball or whether it's CrossFit or whether it's basketball or whatever it is. There's always a risk that's in there. You know, our job obviously is to mitigate that risk and to prepare people as much as we can for the endeavors that they pursue. I know you've recently had an injury. Was it pickleball? No, it wasn't pickleball. Was it softball? Softball?
It's always softball. It's always softball.
Yeah.
Always baseball or softball.
Yeah. Well, like I say to people, like at a certain point, you have to stop playing real sports and just do the gym.
Yeah, it's just going to be 5x5 strength and calisthenics and some yoga.
Yeah. What did you do? What's the injury? I know you.
Patella tendon rupture. So, I'll be back. It's It's a long journey, but it's not an impossible mountain to climb. So I'm not too afraid.
Well, and also again, whenever this happens to a coach, not that I want things bad to happen to coaches, but it's such a useful thing because it's then something that they can communicate towards the membership and the clientele moving forward. Yeah. It's like whenever you have an injury like that, you know, it's a blessing in disguise is probably the wrong terminology, but it is there are positives to take from it, and that it makes you more aware that you can then communicate to the membership, okay, if you're going to do this, these are the things you need to watch out for. This is how you can mitigate that risk. And also, if anything does happen, you will go through the recovery process that you as a coach can then, you know, pass on in the future should anyone go through the same thing. So I do think it's a very valuable thing to go through, albeit uncomfortable and kind of miserable right now. But yeah, it is just one of those things. So obviously, you know, you started at Pharos, you were, you know, a coach for many years, and then, you know, you started helping, you know, me out, you know, in a smaller sense with some of the programming. And now, of course, you've taken this much bigger role of head coach, where you've basically taken over kind of like the overlordship of programming, where you're kind of assimilating everything all together, putting it together, communicating with all the teams, communicating with me, making sure that everything kind of like looks good on paper and then flows on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. How is that?
Not as easy as it looks, but
yeah. How's that been for you, that transition? Because you went from, you know, being full-time dad basically back into a full-time job. How's that been?
I mean, you know, I've always kind of loved that aspect of the gym. Like even, you know, before when, I know we were doing, you know, I first started, you know, out at Pharos, you know, did the build classes, did the train classes in the sense that I was coaching them, but then we like, you know, started doing the lift programming, you know, so I did programming for my own gym back in the day. So it wasn't like a major hop or anything, you know, and like you said, I've been, you know, helping on the back end for quite some time before jumping into this role. So not a big shift in gears too much, just, you know, more out there. And I'm always putting on my Pieter hat in order to think about these things. But no, I love it. I think that, having somebody really, really focused, you know, on the overarching aspect of it all. So like how all the pieces kind of fall into place is, I think, really important for just cohesion of, you know, the gym, especially as you guys have grown in terms of, you know, locations. So it's really, really important to be able to kind of, you know, make that happen, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, almost being able to look at it. I mean, obviously you're coaching some of these classes and you're seeing it on a day-to-day basis. But you're also looking at it from the outside. You know, you're thinking about, you know, the 4 different locations, different gyms. You know, one of the challenges we have as a company, obviously, is every space is a little bit different. Yeah. You know, we're not like a 2,000 square foot box that's like paint by numbers and everything looks exactly the same. Our gyms are different. There are different shapes, different sizes. We have different kinds of equipment in different gyms. So we have to take a very kind of nuanced and adaptable view when it comes to programming. So, I think me and you have that, and that really only comes with experience, that you can look at programming and think, okay, it's going to work in this space, it's going to work in that space, it's going to work in this space. These are the potential changes that you may have to make. These are the kind of the nuances that might go with it. But it's always very adaptable to the situation and the day-by-day, things that come up. And also, of course, having such a broad membership, it's not like all our members are 35 years old and all doing the same thing. Like we have from 20 to 75-year-old people all doing build classes. So we have to be very kind of adaptable in our approach and very, again, like I always say, our coaches need big back pockets because they need to be able to pull out, on any given Sunday, they need subs for 3 different exercises on the same day, or they need to be able to think on their feet and change quickly. And we as programmers need to make sure that we're presenting the opportunity for that, and that coaches don't get overwhelmed in the session. So we can always deliver the best product to the most people.
Yeah, that's you're going to run into that with programming for any number of people, and we have a huge clientele and a huge range of people that we're trying to program for. So being able, I think that's kind of just communicating with the coaches on the back end, something that I don't think necessarily that, the members necessarily see all the time, is that communication that goes on the back end, the back and forth with the coaches and kind of, prepping them for the week that's ahead in order so that they know the best way to present what we've got in store for all the athletes. But and
to your credit, you've been doing a much better job of that than I did. So I've appreciated that. But yeah, I think you're right. Like giving everybody as much, almost ammunition as you can and awareness as you can before they go in is, advantageous to a better product and a better experience for everybody. The interesting thing, and I've been talking about this a lot, on the podcast, but also, with our teams, is that I feel like right now Pharos is in a really strong position as a company in the fitness industry, just because, we know where the industry is trending. The industry is trending back towards kind of bigger box gyms, your kind of lifetime type gyms that, they offer a lot of products, it's a nice clean space. There's, you can choose from a multitude of things. But where they lack, of course, is in the programming, coaching, and delivery side of things. They'll never be able to do what we do in terms of, coaching and programming. So we are able to offer, a broad range of products, great equipment, great facilities, but also we are able to deliver the programming and coaching necessary to achieve the best results. And, as a company, I think we've gotten better and better at that over the years. We've refined a lot. And I think we have the opportunity in this industry to do what no one else can do, because of all those attributes, because we have the space, the equipment, the teams, the programming, the coaching, and all that coming together under one roof. I feel like, we're at this point in the industry, I think we're in a very good place because, a lot of the kind of smaller studios, I think, are going to start to struggle, and we've already seen it. Of course, a lot of the smaller studios are closing down, but also people don't want just a 24-hour fitness. They want a higher, a more elevated product than that. So I feel like we are that. I feel like we're a good point in the industry for the people. They do take their fitness a little bit more seriously.
Definitely, yeah.
They want something a little bit more elevated. They want results, but they also want to train in a nice environment with good people.
Yeah. And I think what we're bringing to the table is, that aspect of community that you may have gotten in a smaller gym, but with higher quality equipment, higher quality coaching, and just a very thought out plan on a larger scale, right? So I think that's where we're at, and it's one of those things where it's like a volume game, right? You got to have enough people to make it all work, and we're there, and we can provide that for our members on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and also to your point, like I can't imagine any of those gyms are programming 3 months ahead and thinking, okay, but where are we going to be in 3 months?
Yeah.
Whereas we are thinking like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what does a year of programming look like at Pharos Athletic Club? That's our landscape. That's how we're thinking. You go to not to slag anybody off, but you go to a Barry's boot camp and they're just like, it's just day-to-day programming. It's just like whatever spaghetti you want to throw at the wall on that day, that's what it is. Ours is a very kind of progressive overload based program that makes sense.
I think that I think that like you're talking about like the Barry's boot camp, the spaghetti sticking is for some people who are just jumping into working out, that's going to benefit them. But in the long run, you're gonna break down, and you need a more overarching plan for overall strength build, overall hypertrophy building, and et cetera, et cetera. So those
gyms are also great for travel. I speak to a lot of people about it. Like if you're going away for like a week or a weekend and you just want to like do something to keep fit, like jumping into a Barry's or an Orange Theory or something just to get some work done. Yeah, like that's a great option. I think that's almost like where those gyms fit in best. It's just like a temporary quick fix kind of like thing. Yeah. But you've got to have, in terms of your life and your fitness career, you got to have a better plan than that. And it's our job to provide that plan. You mentioned the word community, and I know a big part of your new role is kind of that community building. Yeah. We've got the 30, 60, 90 plan and all that. Tell us a little bit about that and your responsibilities on the community side.
I mean, it's just building a repertoire, with all these members. Like, that's one of the things that keeps people coming back to a gym, to a facility is, their engagement with the coaches and their engagement with everybody that is around them. And, if they haven't heard from a coach and like, but just from the day to day, then they're going to be less likely to stay engaged. And, seeing where people are at, like there's, just that level of one-on-one, I think really makes a huge difference in people's, just feeling of the gym, right? So, knowing where they're at, understanding like these are issues, this is what they're going through, and, not to like have a shoulder to cry on or anything, but like to like understand like, hey, I just did this, like, hey, I can't, like I can't go overhead today, I can't squat today, I can't do this. And like having somebody who is listening and, day in and day out, trying to make adjustments for them, if that makes sense. Right. So that's kind of where we're at with that is just, continuing to reach out to everybody, as much as possible.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is it's helping people stay connected.
Yeah.
Because again, this is where our strengths can come into play, because we are at maximum capacity for our bigger facilities like Echo Park and Palm Springs. At maximum capacity, they're 1,000-member gyms. Yeah. That's the most they'll ever be.
Yeah.
And I think, once you get in the realm of these big gyms, which are 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 members, there's no way that you can stay connected to your community in those facilities. Yeah. You lose that opportunity at that point. We have that opportunity because we are the sub 1,000 member gym. Yeah. Now, we're not a small gym anymore, so it's not as easy as it used to be. So it requires a lot more work and a lot more attention, which is why, we have head coaches to help us do that. But it does take work, and it doesn't happen as organically as it did when it was just me, Emylee, and Jeff, and 200 members, and we knew everyone by their first name. So it takes a lot more effort, but it needs to be that conscious effort because I feel like. That's why you join a gym like Pharos Athletic Club because you want a sense of connection and community. But it also needs to be paid attention to because it doesn't just happen the way that it used to. It's very easy for people to slip through the cracks. It's very easy for people to feel like they're not noticed or, that they haven't been celebrated in some fashion. Yeah. So I think bringing, the role that you're doing now and as we roll this out more and more, we're going to be paying a lot more attention to that side of things, just to make sure we are keeping, our community together. People are being acknowledged. Not like everybody wants to be in the spotlight all the time.
No, for sure.
Some people are just happy, like doing their thing and not being, in the spotlight. But I think everyone appreciates, some kind of acknowledgement. Like, I mean, whenever I'm in the gym, or if it's Echo Park or Redondo, wherever it is, I'm always trying to speak to as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And just, even if it's just hello, how you doing? Great to see you kind of thing. I love that. That's what I've always loved the most about the gyms is connecting with people. Yes, we're in the business of fitness, but really we're in the business of community. That's the thing that really excites me. And that's why, me and Emylee are traveling so much, trying to like make sure that we check in with everybody.
Yeah.
So that, those bridges are not lost. We want to keep those bridges built. And we want everyone within our teams to be working on those bridges and keeping those bridges as strong as they possibly can be. Because again, that's what sets us apart, and that's what separates us from, those bigger box, mega gym type places.
But you've got soul, Pieter.
Huh?
You've got a soul.
Arguably.
No,
That is, again, one of the most important things about our brand and our product. And,
sure.
If you've been following the Anchor series that we just did, we talk about it a lot. It's like, we built the gym to build community, reach as many people as possible, stay connected, and provide this kind of lighthouse, provide a guiding light in fitness where you can come, you can share, you can experience these things together, and it just be a fun time. And not just feel like, I got to go to the gym, it's going to be dark, it's going to be dirty, it's going to be the real grind. Like, I don't want people to have that emotion when they think about Pharos Athletic Club. I want the emotion to be, oh my God, thank God for Pharos. Like, it's light, it's bright. I'm going to see a ton of good people. I'm going to have a great workout. Like, I want every experience to be like that. And having, people like you to help us do that is kind of at this point invaluable, because obviously me and Emmy can't be everywhere all the time. And we're lucky enough to have some really, really strong employees that, I keep saying to Emylee all the time, like, I just want to bring in people that want to ride for the brand, because we can't do this alone. And I know nobody can do this alone. And the more people we can get that just all have the same vision and want to do the same thing with fitness, and agree with us that this is the kind of the point, then, the stronger the brand's going to be, the stronger the company's going to be, and the easier it's going to be for us to maintain. So the 30, 60, 90 plan is a very specific thing that you've been kind of doing for the last few months, right? So there's a check-in at the 30-day mark, a check-in at the 60-day mark, and a check-in at the 90-day mark.
Yep.
That's correct, right?
Yeah.
And how's that been going?
I mean, for the most part, not too bad. A lot of members, but we're doing our best to handle those. And it's really fun, honestly, to see the people who get it and really want to be there, and they put their their best foot forward. Like, see the reaction, right? So like, you come in at 30 days, like, how are things going, and like, just the light on their faces when they get to tell you, like, oh my gosh, I did my first like barbell back squat, something that a lot of us might take for granted, right. But the fact that they're lighting up because, and hey, that's going to be me just a little bit with this little injury, but it really is something special to just hear the stories that people have, and it just keeps getting better. Like, you move to that 60-day, and now it's not just squatting the barbell. It's like, hey, maybe I squatted with 2 5-pound plates, or whatever it was that they was in their mind, this like hill to climb, this mountain to climb, and they were able to do it. It's just really, really fun to see. But a lot of work, but it's it's work that's fun, and it's work that is great to just see the benefit that we're providing to our community. Our community.
Yeah. And that combined with, we've been paying a lot more attention to the 500 member club. I know Dan's been working on that. Yep. And then we're talking about this 1,000 member club that we've got coming up. Obviously, we have a lot of members now that are in that category, 1,000 classes.
Amazing.
Phenomenal. We've got some good things in the works for that. So, as the community grows and it just gets bigger and stronger, there's lots of things that we can do to keep acknowledging, keep celebrating, and keep making people understand that they're part of this like bigger bigger thing, which I'm like super excited about, of course. Because now, you know, I want people to realize that it's not just the gym that they're in anymore. It's like they're part of something like bigger. They're part of a bigger consciousness.
Sure.
And you know, I want them to be celebrated within that bigger bubble. With all that said, I know we've been working hard on this next kind of section of programming. We're coming up to, you know, October. We usually do our monster meet.
Yep.
Which is essentially our
last 2 years. Yeah.
Competition. And you just come up with a great, you know, a great series of programming leading up to that monster meet. You know, we came off the German volume, the high volume work that we did for the German volume, the 100 rep stuff, and now I know we're kind of tapering down in reps and volume more towards strength protocol. So tell us about that. What's happening in the next few weeks?
Yeah, so it is like the next 4 weeks, tapering volume, increasing intensity, and building up to, you know, a 3 rep max. And obviously that's not going to be for everybody. So, you know, we'll have options in there, you know, for the folks who are like, you know, I don't need to do a 3 rep max, you know, okay, well, then no big deal. Like, let's just build up to a heavy set of 5, a heavy set of 3, whatever it is for the day. But for those of us who really do kind of want to, you know, push the envelope just a little bit, we've got that 3 RM that's coming. And then using that 3 RM, we can kind of estimate our 1 rep max. And then 6 weeks from the end of that kind of strength endurance based program, we're going to have the monster meet. So we're going to kind of build off of that estimated 1 RM and then go to a real one within that 6 weeks that coincides with that monster meet. And, you know, using a little bit more kind of like rate of perceived exertion, kind of like RPE style stuff, just so that people aren't, you know, pushing too hard right in the beginning, right? So I think that's like a big thing that people run into is they're like, I want to go heavy. You know, you have like 25% of the class that wants to go, you know, as heavy as they can all the time, 50% who's right in the middle, and then 25% who's just like, I'm just happy to be here. I don't need to put too much on the bar, and you got to kind of push them a little bit more than you push the other folks. But yeah, so 4 weeks of our strength endurance followed by 6 weeks of our
it's power. 5-3-1, right? It's 5-3-1 we're moving on to. Sorry, is it 5-3-1 that we're moving on to?
In a similar vein, yeah. So for the powerlifting, it's a similar take on that 5-3-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that haven't seen the programming, you'll know that for the next kind of 3 weeks, we're on this kind of descending ladder. So we're starting. So today's, for example, we did the 15, 12, 10, 8, and then the max effort at 60%. And then week 2, similar ladder, but we do a max effort at 70%. Similar ladder after that, max effort at 80%, and then we do a 3 rep max after that. And then we taper the reps down even more and go more into a 5-3-1 heavy sequence, building up to the monster meet. And I think the most important thing to get across to people, like Shep was saying, is like strength is relative, right? So for some people, you know, a 3 rep max, they're going to have in their brain, I need to be at 85% by 1 rep max, and I'm going to crush like a PR. I'm going to get the best PR I've ever done. For some people, it's just, I'm going to get stronger, and that's enough. You know, the overriding thing we always want to take away from our programming is that we want you to get fitter, stronger, healthier, and build some muscle. And the programming is designed to do that. So when you see things like 5-3-1 or, you know, these kind of like strength protocols, don't let it get in your head that like, oh, I don't need to be, you know, I don't need to be doing 1 rep maxes. I don't need to be like lifting heavy. Again, heavy is a relative term. All we want for you is for you to get stronger and you to feel better. Yeah. And our programming is designed to do that. We are going to progressively overload to get you stronger. So it's just a sequence of programming where the weight gets heavier over a period of time to get you more confident with lifting heavier weights so that you get stronger. And then we test it. And we test it for whatever reason you want to test it. You either test it for fun, you test it because you really, really, really care and you really, really want to know. But really we test it to prove. We test it to prove to you that you're getting stronger. to prove to us that we're doing our job right and that everything's headed in the right direction. That's the thing. It was a funny thing because it's like, my God, it's just another reminder that everything is trainable. Everything, every sport and every exercise is so nuanced, and you're going to use different muscles in different ways. And immediately when I did it, I'm going to actually do a PAC perspective about this. It's like, oh my God, if I'm going to get better at this, I am going to have to start doing this. So if I want to get better at X, I'm going to have to do Y. I'm going to have to focus on more mobility in my hips and hamstrings.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to focus on the ability to hold a static contraction in my hamstrings. And that then gives you a why, right? It's like, if I want to get better at this, then I'm going to have to do that. Rather than training just being this kind of like, it's easy for me at this stage to kind of just like do what I want to do and be fine.
Yeah.
I have enough strength, I have enough mobility, I have enough muscle to kind of like do what I want to do. But when I'm challenged in that new way in a new sport, it's like, oh fuck, I'm going to have to kind of rewrite the rule book here and teach my body to do some different things, which is super fun actually, to be
for sure
at 47 and being challenged in that way, which is I think is what actually keeps us like vital and hungry.
None of the other riders, though, are bench pressing the whole horse. So you're the only one
exactly.
that's doing that.
So all that to say, so going back to what I was talking about, like, we have that opportunity at Pharos to get people stronger in that way because we are thinking ahead, and we are, when you are in your infancy, in your training infancy, you will get stronger no matter what you do.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So for the first 3 months of training, you can go to Barry's, you can go to F45, you can do Orange Theory, you can do all these things, and you'll get great results, and you will get stronger because the bar is so low that anything will get you stronger. Long term, you're going to have to start paying more attention.
Definitely.
You're going to have to start applying more progressive overload, which is where we come in. I think we realized this year, in terms of our marketing, we've always, we want to be the gym that welcomes everybody. But we've also realized that, we are also the gym that people go to for their next level of training. Like, we're almost the gym that people go to when they've been doing Barry's, Orange Theory, F45, all those gyms for a while, and it's stopped working. And they need to get to the next phase of their training life.
Yeah.
And we're that gym.
Yeah.
Because we are paying attention to the long term. We are thinking 3 months ahead. We are thinking a year ahead. We're not saying to you like, oh, you're going to be like the strongest person on earth in a month's time. We're saying like in a year's time, in a 2 year. We can't wait to see where you are in a year and 2 years time. We're taking we're in this for the long haul. We're programming for longevity. We're programming to get you strong, in macro cycles and not just micro cycles. And that, that's our vision, and that's how we think. Yes, on any given day, we want you to come in and have a great workout and have fun. But it's just a small part of a big plan that we have for you. So again, that's the opportunity that I think we have as a business, as a gym, as programmers, and as coaches. We have the vision for the future as opposed for just the vision of tomorrow.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that there is going to be, and I don't want to call it like dullness, but there's going to be repetition, right? So like I think that the Barry's boot camps and all these other, it's so focused on, we're just going to do a little bit of everything. It's going to be like, it's just going to be fun, right? And whereas we're going to squat every single week, right? Every single week we're going to squat, every single week we're going to bend, every single week we're going to do this, and it's through that progression and through that systematic approach to just, we're going to hit this every single time, and we're going to get a little bit better every single time that you see results. And I think that that's for all the gyms that I've necessarily been a part of or seen or experienced is I feel like that's they touch on things, but then they disappear, and they touch on this, and then it disappears, and it's like, well, it's been 4 months since I've put a barbell on the front rack and done XYZ. I need to of course I'm not going to get better at that. So being able to overarching like these are our core strength pieces, and we're going to get better at them, is something that I think we bring to the table that a lot of gyms don't necessarily kind of focus on.
Exactly that. I always say, like, we need to have enough consistency to have progressive overload, and enough variation to prevent adaptation. So, the way that we've always done it, like, and if you look at build specifically in the last 7 years, we've been very consistent with our primary lifts.
Sure.
And it's in the secondary lifts and in the the accessory pieces where you get the variation. But the primary lifts have been very consistent, and that's of course on purpose. And you're exactly right. Like, because I've followed other people's programming from time to time, and it just kind of jumps around all over the place. And I think people just get caught up, and they're worried about people getting bored, or
sure.
You get obsessed with like the entertainment side of things. It's like, well, this would be fun to do this. It's like, fun is great. I love fun, and our workouts are fun, but you can't let fun dictate the overriding message of the team. You have to have the constant in there to get the benefit of the fun. Because, otherwise, fun after a while doesn't. You're just running around in circles. You've got to have that. You've got to have that one constant running through. You've got to have that pursuit of strength, which requires, like you said, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Tweak it a little bit, and that makes it fun.
So. Yeah, and of course we varied the sets, the reps, the tempo, the protocols. But again, you can't rewrite the rule book. The lifts are the lifts, and you have to have those primary lifts in there because ultimately we're concerned with human function. We're consumed with making our members stronger functionally, and the best way to do that is in the compound lifts that are true, tried and tested. Which is why we've always had them in our programming, and we don't steer too far away from that because we believe in people getting the most bang for their buck, and we know how to do that. We know how to deliver that, which is why we've been so consistent, and I think why people have always come back to us because sometimes. You do it for a while and you think, oh, maybe I'd be happier doing this or that, or, going and trying something else. But, a lot of the time they'll do that and the wheels always fall off just because, it doesn't work. What we do works. We've seen it. We have the data to prove it. We've seen it time and time again. People have gotten phenomenally strong at the club. People have got incredible shape at the club. It's fun. It's interesting, like just being in Palm Springs right now and just seeing from where we started to where people are now, like how much stronger they've gone and how much muscle they've put on and how much better they look. It's just phenomenal. And one of those reassuring things. You're like, yeah, actually we do know what we're doing. Thank God. Because the proof's right in front of you. So I'm super happy that you're in this role. I think we're all very fortunate to have you. You've always been a very, steady level head. Even when I've been in panic mode, you've been very reassuring and calming.
You don't panic. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I called you the wizard back in the day just because, like, you just have that kind of, like, whether it's figuring something out on the technical side.
Sure.
Or having a very kind of, like, stable vision about things. It just kind of is magic, and I'm thrilled to have you in this role. I'm thrilled to have you, working with this company, and I'm really excited to see where you go from here. Anything else you want to kind of add, Shep?
Nothing. I'm just excited to see what everybody is capable of in the next 6 to 9 weeks, leading up into October. So I think that's going to be really, really fun. Again, even if you're not going for that 1RM, just, going for something a little heavier than you did, even a few months ago. It's just a fun thing to see people, getting stronger on just a consistent basis. So I'm really excited about that, and always excited to work for you guys. So it's a fun journey, and I'm glad I'm a part of it.
Yeah, and it's nice that you've been able to mix up both Echo Park and Redondo for these past few weeks, and spread your wings a little bit in the community and see a new membership and the way that they roll, because every gym is a little bit different, every community is a little bit different.
Have to be.
Yeah, it has to be. The demographics are different. The wants of that gym. Like I see Redondo was a very kind of like performance focused gym. It has got that kind of vibe to it. So I'm glad that you've gotten the opportunity to see that and introduce yourself to a whole new set of people. I'm sure they appreciate you too.
It's definitely been fun, and I love those guys over there, and I'm excited to see where that grows and where it goes. And I know that 2 years is coming up, right? So this 17th is that the we're gonna little beach party.
We got the party on Sunday, the beach party on Sunday. Yeah,
I'm still I'll still be laid up. So
yeah.
All I'm gonna be doing is just upper body, 5-pound dumbbells.
Exactly. You're gonna be massive upper body, massive
upper body, and then I'll once everything's working again, lower body will be back on track. I mean, I did I love squatting, I love deadlifting, I love all that stuff. It's like that's my favorite stuff there. So I'll be excited when I can do it heavy again.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, you can catch Shep at both Echo Park and Redondo. What days are you coaching at Redondo right now, Shep, or are you just doing
Thursdays, hiatus until probably September. So Thursdays in the morning, and then all the time in Echo Park in the morning. I'm not normally a PM guy. 2 little kids kind of take your your PM energy and what you gotta do. But early morning in Echo Park, middle of the day Echo Park, almost 4 to 5 days a week. Like I said, right now semi short hiatus while I get back into the swing of things, and then I'll be there early September to knock it out of the park again and have fun with all those people. That's when you can wake up at 5 a.m. and be excited to go see a group of people, that's something special. So
yeah, it is. Yeah, honestly, it's the best thing about what we do. And if you have any questions for me and Shep, feel free to go on the Instagram, DM us, or email us info@pharosathleticlub.com. We're always happy to answer any questions about the programming or what we got coming up.
Yep.
We do think these things through. There's a plan afoot. So always happy to answer any questions you have. Apart from that, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the gym real soon. Thanks again, Shep. Great to talk to you as always, and I'll hope you recover well, man. We've got to get you some of that BPC 157. Back on your feet.
Don't worry, I'll be back soon. I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
It is what it is.
And it's a blip in the grand scheme of things, right? So that's kind of the mindset.
If nothing else, it's a good excuse to put your feet up and watch Yellowstone from start to finish.
That's one of the series that I haven't really watched. I know you're a fan, so
watch it, and I'll have a test for you at the end.
Written test, 60 questions. I got 1 hour.
Yeah. Your bonus will depend on it. All right, brother. Thank you so much. Great to see you, and I'll see you in the gym in a bit, and get well soon.
Let's do this again sometime.
Let's do it real soon.
Yeah.
All right, brother. You take care. Thanks, Shep.
Yeah.